The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Lucas stepped forward, his human frame dwarfed by the towering Vraxian delegates and the crystalline Ithori representatives. Behind him, Susan remained perfectly still, her eyes scanning the room with the quiet intensity that had saved his life more times than he could count. The human brings his animal to official proceedings, Ambassador Thexnor rumbled, his four eyes blinking in what Lucas had learned was disgust. This is unprecedented. Lucas felt his jaw tighten, but Susan's hand briefly touched his shoulder, a subtle reminder to stay calm. She understood the alien languages better than any translator, had learned their customs, their tells, their weaknesses. The galaxy saw her as his pet. He knew better. With respect, Ambassador, Lucas began, his voice steady. Susan is my partner. She's a critical member of humanity's delegation to this council. A rippling sound, laughter, echoed from the Kaleshi section. Their tentacles undulated with amusement. Partner? It cannot even address us directly. It has no neural implant, no quantum communicator. How does such a primitive creature contribute to matters of galactic importance? Lucas had expected this. The galaxy had made first contact with humanity 3 years ago, and they'd been disappointed. Humans had no natural armor like the Vraxians, no hive mind like the Thren, no energy manipulation like the Ithori. They were soft, short-lived, and unremarkable. The Council had classified them as a Class 3 species, worthy of observation but hardly equals. What confused them more was the relationship between humans and their companions. Dogs, cats, horses. The aliens couldn't comprehend why an intelligent species would bond so deeply with lesser creatures. 3 weeks ago, Lucas said, pulling up a holographic display, the Vraxian mining colony on Tethys 9 went dark. 60 workers. No distress signal. Ambassador Thexnor requested assistance from the Council. The Vraxian delegate shifted uncomfortably. Yes, and we deployed a full investigation team. They found nothing. Because they were looking with sensors, with logic, with protocol. Lucas advanced the display, showing the desolate mining facility. Humanity offered to help. The Council accepted, reluctantly. Susan moved to his side now, and Lucas noticed how several delegates leaned away. To them, she was unpredictable, dangerous in her simplicity. Susan and I arrived on Tethys 9 with a small team. While the others set up equipment, Susan did what she does best. He pulled up footage from his helmet cam. She searched. The hologram showed Susan moving through the mining facility, her nose to the ground, her body language shifting as she processed information invisible to any scanner. She paused at a wall panel, scratched at it, then sat, her signal that she'd found something. Behind that panel, we found a hidden passage, one that led to a sealed section of the mine where the Vraxian workers were trapped after a deliberately triggered collapse. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Ambassador Thexnor leaned forward. Deliberately? Our investigation found no evidence of sabotage. Because the saboteur was sophisticated enough to fool your sensors, but not sophisticated enough to eliminate organic traces, skin cells, chemical signatures, pheromones. Lucas looked directly at the Kaleshi delegation. Susan tracked the saboteur to a ventilation shaft. We found evidence that someone had planted mining charges to simulate a natural collapse, intending to eliminate evidence of illegal extraction operations. The Kaleshi delegate's tentacles suddenly went rigid. This proves nothing! It proved enough for us to save 60 Vraxian lives, Lucas countered, and enough for me to request a full audit of the mining operations, which I believe is currently underway. Ambassador Thexnor's voice was quieter now, respectful. The human speaks truth. The workers confirmed their rescue. We owe a debt to the human and his companion. Lucas shook his head. You owe a debt to my partner. Susan doesn't have quantum communicators or neural implants, but she has something that evolution has refined over millions of years. Senses that can detect what your technology misses. Pattern recognition that processes information in ways your logical algorithms can't match. And loyalty that your political alliances can't replicate. He crouched beside Susan, scratching behind her ears, a gesture that made several aliens recoil. Humans didn't conquer Earth through individual strength. We did it through partnership. We bonded with wolves who became dogs, and together we hunted. We worked with horses and crossed continents. We've thrived not because we're the strongest or fastest, but because we understand that different forms of intelligence, different types of awareness, can accomplish more together than apart. Susan looked up at him, her tail wagging slightly, the simple, pure expression of a bond that needed no translation. The galaxy sees hierarchy, Lucas continued, standing to address the full council. You see species as superior or inferior, advanced or primitive. Humanity sees potential. Partnership. When you look at Susan, you see a creature without technology, without language as you understand it. I see someone who saved my life, who solved problems that stumped your best investigators, who's loyal beyond any contract or treaty. He paused, letting his words settle over the chamber. You called her a pet, an animal, something beneath notice in your grand cosmic order. Lucas's voice hardened with conviction. I call her my partner. And that partnership, that human ability to see value where you see nothing, that's what will make us extraordinary in this galaxy. Not despite our bonds with other species, but because of them. The chamber remained silent for a long moment. Finally, Ambassador Thexnor rose, his massive form somehow conveying humility. Perhaps, the Vraxian said slowly, the Council has much to learn from humanity, and from their partners. Lucas smiled, feeling Susan press against his leg. The galaxy was vast, filled with species that could bend matter, cross dimensions, and compute at speeds humans could barely imagine. But none of them understood what it meant to earn the trust of another soul, to build something greater than themselves through connection rather than domination. As they left the council chamber, Lucas knew the real fight was just beginning. But with Susan at his side, his partner, his friend, his proof that humanity's greatest strength lay in the bonds they forged, he was ready for whatever came next. Behind them, the council began to debate. And for the first time they were beginning to understand. Humanity's difference wasn't a weakness, it was their revolution.